This is Hawks Live, fueled by Georgia Natural Gas. Unfortunately, the Knicks faithful get to be as loud as they want to this evening. As we wrap up the 121-105 final, a 16-point L to Karl Anthony Towns and the visiting New York Knicks. Brian Oliver and Trevor Scales holding you down from the Hawk Walk here post-game. And this is one of the days where out the gate, tone was established by, unfortunately, the opponent that walked in these doors. Knicks got hot, stayed hot.
Here's the thing. We talked about coming into this game. Both teams needed this game. And you knew that the Knicks were going to come in because of the fact of how we played them in the previous two games. They came out, they got hot, and like you say, they stayed hot. Two of the guys that really carried them, Cat Towns and then OG Anunoby. I mean, they were amazing. This Knicks team, they basically ran off and were up by as much as 30 in that first half. Hawks tried to climb back, but they literally could not stop the Knicks and the players that they had today.
So let's delve into those four keys to the game. Karl Anthony Towns and OG Anunoby, they combined for 54 on the night.
And T-Skills, we talked about Karl Anthony Towns and the fact that this guy has a load and how he can score in the post with the ball on the floor, knock down the three. And you could tell from the get, he came in on a mission. He came in trying to carry this team. But the other guy that we talked about in the pregame that's really carrying these guys is OG Anunoby. This is a guy that's playing the power forward position, plays physical. Today he got the three ball to go, was able to put the ball on the floor and finish at the rim. He had a big 24 points. The Knicks were able to get out in transition. A lot of it was OG Anunoby being able to play Robin to Karl Anthony Towns, Batman this afternoon.
Those two fellas combined to shoot 57% from three, really indicative of the hot shooting night that the Knicks had overall from distance, and really also indicative of the offensive struggles was the fact that Trae Young only finished with 16 points, 9 assists, and wound up being the team high scorer.
Well, here's the thing is that you knew coming into this game that the last time Trae basically destroyed the Knicks up in the Garden in the game that they should have won. Knicks came on the idea that they weren't going to allow him to be able to go off of what he wanted to do. Trae, even though he didn't score big, I thought he was efficient. There were times where he tried to do what he could to get everyone else in going. Even in 16 points, I thought that during the afternoon, did all he tried to do, he could do to be able to get them going.
Now, and it's fortunately, you have to find a way to put this behind you, but when it comes to what Trae Young was able to find, as far as those little windows of opportunity to get the scoring going, it was at three different levels. Finding the way to probe at times and dish when he could. It's just one of them days where the Knicks knew who they had to lock in on, and they absolutely made every concerted effort to do so.
And when they did that, I thought that they sent multiple guys, and a lot of times you want to put a tall defender on Trae that's athletic. They did that. They mixed up their coverages. A lot of times on the pick and roll, they blitzed him. They tried to get the ball out of his hands, and I thought that Trae tried to get everybody else going. Hawks did have 6 guys in double figures. They were able to continue to try to fight back and got their offense clicking, but at the same time, couldn't stop the Knicks in what they were doing.
So you have to put it behind you regardless. Look at the Xfinity upcoming schedule because every game absolutely holds weight going forward. Next 5, the Jazz, Magic, Nets, and Sixers. Wrap things up with the Magic here at State Farm Arena to wrap up the season. We'll be back with more Hawks Live post-game after this. Hawks don't have much time to correct this effort. 121-105. The final is checking with Quin Snyder post-game. It's your Georgia Natural Gas post-game press conference.
From the tip, their aggressiveness, really as much as anything, that in every manifestation of the game, knocked us back. And, we have to be more, focused on that. Every play has challenges in that regard, whether it's running, defensively, you can point to anything. I could list them for you, but I think that, frankly, is everything starts and flows from there. And we're at a point in the year where we need to be ready to go tomorrow night. Is really what it comes down to. And, establish that mindset. We've had that. And this is what it looks like when we're not especially during a certain stretch where it was, where we lost the game.
Not to point to anything in particular, but how much maybe did that 3 p.m. start kind of get guys out of their routine?
Yeah, this is one of those ones where you can probably point to a lot of things, but as much as anything, those are the things right now that you have to overcome to whatever extent that's the case. And even if you're feeling some of that at the beginning of the game, we have to respond. And over the course of the game, there were moments that you saw that response, but at that point, it's got to be something that's consistent throughout the game.
Coach, when you're at a period where you are now, this part of the season, and you see your team do a game like that, does it concern you at any point because we're so late in the season and we still have a game like this?
I think anytime, that you don't play well or, don't play, part of it for us is that aggressiveness defensively leads to baskets. It makes it harder for us to get out on the floor. It allows them to be, to be more physical in the half court. So I think we understand that situation. It was, you really felt it tonight, obviously. We played that way against Dallas. We didn't win the game, but, against a physical team with size. So we have to respond from that, and there's time you can have a, I think at this point in the year, it's not a flush it game. You got to take from it what you need to take from it to go forward and to be better. And there's got to be that urgency at this point. I think that is what you face in playoff situations. So that's something we need to understand. And if OG is as physical as he is, you've got to be able, you may not be able to impose your will on a certain level, but we have to have that. I'm using him as an example, but, whoever was getting into us, their aggressiveness in pick and roll, their aggressiveness on the glass, their aggressiveness defensively. And you have to understand that that's, certain teams are going to do that more than others. But, it's something we've got to be prepared for and not just respond to, but initiate, regardless of size or strength or anything like that. It's a mentality that we have to have.